Hello plant people, how are you guys doing today? If you're new around here, my name is Ashley and I'm a soil scientist. On this channel I like to take that science and apply it to all things plants. And in today's video we're talking about probably the #1 garden tool that no one talks about but is the most valuable. So this works beautifully for sandy soils, clay soils, you name it. It's going to help with fertilizer infiltration if you're doing like a broadcasting method or a top dressing method. It's also going to help with water penetration, so the water doesn't just simply run off the top. It can be used on your front lawn as aeration, and it can also be used in perennial beds for aeration, and it can be used to till your in-ground beds. Now this kind of gets a pass in the no-dig community. A lot of people like to call the broadfork a no-till method, but technically from an agricultural perspective, working in the industry, I would consider this a low-till method, not a no-till method. But nonetheless, in the gardening community, it gets a stamp of approval when it comes to being no-till. Now, this is essentially a relatively heavy device, and this one in particular is from Lee Valley Tools. So it weighs a grand total of 25 pounds. There are different versions out there, such as wood versions, but the key here is to get one of quality. So if you get one that isn't welded, for example, on both sides of the teeth, it will snap. If you don't get one that has the angles on the actual rows here and it's just a flat tube, again, it doesn't get into the soil very well. It can be very difficult to use. And then the other key here is the actual bar and having it thick enough that you can stand on it without bending it and jump on it to push it into the soil. And I'll insert some footage of what this looks like and how I use it. So this year I'm going to be actually using it on my perennial bed because I'm finding it a little bit compacted, which is very common here in Canada. We have snow and sometimes the ground doesn't freeze before the snow falls, and if we get a really heavy dump of snow after a rain period, it tends to compact the soil despite our best interest in everything we're trying to do to alleviate that. So one really great way to reactivate that soil, add some aeration, which by the way, microbes love oxygen in non-aerated soil. Technically speaking, the oxygen only gets into approximately the first 2 inches, and now that's going to vary based on bulk density, your soil type, that sort of thing, moisture holding levels, that kind of jazz. Nonetheless, the general rule of thumb is 2 inches. Now this allows the air to penetrate even deeper, farther into the root zone, which is going to increase microbial activity, which is going to increase nutrient cycling, all that sort of fun stuff. And I'm also going to be doing this one as a side-by-side with tillage radishes and a broadfork tilled soil, or no-tilled soil as the gardening community would like to call it. So I'm going to be doing that in this bed here behind me, but I'll be doing a separate video on the tillage radish itself. Now, like I said, the quality of this is going to be the key, and where you use it is completely up to you. You can use it in your lawn, you can use it in your perennial garden, or you can use it for establishing your beds in the future. When you step on it, there's a couple different options here. You can go part of the way down and do a light lift, or you can go really deep and give a good pull. One thing you're going to notice is the plants, if you're doing it in a perennial bed, are going to lift up. This is okay. You're going to get some root breakage, but so long as it's an established perennial bed, everything will be fine, because root breakage actually means wying and more roots in general. If you're wanting to incorporate fertilizer, for example, in this process, particularly organic fertilizers, you would broadcast your manure and your compost on the surface of your soil, and then you would go in with the broad fork after the fact, and this is just going to push that compost down into those areas. But nonetheless, it's very simple to use. It's a great tool for those of you who are wanting to do a no-dig, no-till garden, but are experiencing some compaction. It also is great for anyone who has like lines, such as natural gas, you name it, going underground, where they can't use a tillage device. It's great for lawns, it's great for perennial gardens. So the broad fork in its entirety, and I will insert some photos and how this thing is used. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. Let me know in the comments down below if you've heard of the Miracle broadfork before, or if this is a totally new concept to you. And I will talk to you guys next time.